Hello everyone, welcome back to our home learning program. This is Remy Sanchez from Energy Fitness. I hope that everyone is being safe as well as maintaining healthy and athletic practices. So today what we're going to work on is the backward roll. And now, as our previous videos have went, we are going to start with a warm-up, a breakdown of the skill, and then afterwards conditioning and a cool down. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is puppy crawl. So this is just regular crawl. We're going to go on our hands and knees like a puppy and walk around for about 10 seconds just to get the body moving. If you want, you can do a little wag. Boom. Then the next thing afterwards, we are going to do a bear crawl. So here, it's a little bit more complicated, but still pretty simple. We'll stay with our feet a little bit apart, and we're going to reach down, put our hands down, and walk like a bear. Then lastly, for the beginning of this warm-up, we are going to do a crab walk. So we're going to sit down on our bum, put our hands behind us, our feet in front, push our hips up, and walk like a crab. Afterwards, we're going to do a candlestick roll up to position jumps. Like normal, like we usually do, we will do our 4 positions, which is straight, straddle jump, tuck jump, and pike jump. So I'll do this from the side so you can understand. Arms by your ears, we'll roll back, shoot our legs up into the candlestick, jump, and straight jump. Afterwards, we will do a tuck jump. I'll do it facing forward. And here, as we know for our tuck jump, we'll bring our knees to our chest. Arms all the way up, roll back, feet up, jump, knees, boom. Then for our third one, we'll do straddle jump. Our feet will go as far apart as possible and a nice straddle. Make sure that your legs are nice and straight and your arms are still by your ears. So you go here, go up, jump, and down. Then for the last one, which is the most complicated one, we will do a candlestick roll to pike jump. Here, once again, I will demonstrate from the side so that you can understand what I am doing. Make sure that you are reaching for your toes and having nice, straight legs. Arms up, go backwards, down. Afterwards, the next thing we will do are simple jogs. We're going to go here, and in this jog, we're going to do with high knees. So you see my knees will go to a 90-degree angle like so, and run. Then, for after 10 seconds, we'll kick your bum. And then lastly, we'll hop on one leg for 5, hop on the other leg for 5. And for that will be our warm-up for this video. Okay, so now we're going to get to the skill of the backward roll. But before we go into the exercises, I want you all to know that usually at the gym here at Energy Fitness, we have wedges. We have many different mats we can use in order to make the skill easier. Now, I say this in order to emphasize that at home, we might not have these things. We might not have the wedge. We might not have the mat that we need. However, what we have done is that we have made these exercises so that you may improvise, apply them, and try and recreate them at home. So what we will be using is a bunch of higher surfaces as well as soft surfaces, of course, in order to practice the skill safely and effectively. So the first thing that we're going to do with this exercise needs none of these mats. We are just going to be on the floor and practice our mad cat position. As we've seen in previous videos, the mad cat is a concave. Your chest is concave, your belly is going towards the ceiling. So, and your back is very round, like so. Now, for those of you who are just dropping in, this is the opposite of happy cow, which is you arch your back, you bring your bum in, and your belly is to the floor, as close to the floor as possible. So, the goal is to understand mad cat is you take this position, happy cow, and you round it and bring your belly as close to the ceiling as possible, like so. Now, the next thing from here, what we're going to do is a squat, a little squat here, boom, and we're going to roll backwards. Just practice going backwards and up and up. As you can see, I've done this flawlessly. So, that is our first exercise. The second one, we'll use this and we'll apply something very important. This is called pizza hand. Your hands are like this. Pretend that you have a pizza. You're going to put them right here. You have a big pizza right over your heads. And you're going to have it here, right by your ears. So, we're going to start in this mad cat position. We're going to squat. And then when we squat, we're going to take our hands off and do the pizza. Now we have this pizza, and I know we want to eat it, but instead, we're going to just push it into the ground. So we're going to roll backwards, take the pizza, and put our hands flat on the ground, like so. Now, once you understand this, and you understand that your fingers should be going towards your shoulders, try and lift your head off a little bit. So, the whole exercise is round back, squat, roll backwards, and push up just a bit. Now, don't be discouraged if this is hard. It takes a little bit of practice. Now, why are we doing this? Why do we need to take our head off the mat or off the floor? The reason here is that when we're rolling and we're in pizza hands, we're going to feel our neck being squished. And it's going to be very painful and uncomfortable to roll. In order to alleviate that or take the pressure off, we want to lift our head. So, that being said, what we need to do is make sure that our elbows are not here to push, but our hands are here. The hands we use is to push actually off and take the pressure off the head, as opposed to pushing and initiating the roll. Your roll will happen with your legs, not with your hands. So, do here, roll back, and push up. Okay, so what we're going to do, our goal is to put this beanbag into our target. So what we're going to do is sit down, put the beanbag in between our feet. We're going to roll backwards, put our hands down in pizza hands, and just drop. You see how my hips are over my head, and my hands and fingers are facing my shoulders. Once we can do this, we understand this is an exercise in order to understand the rotation with our hips. We bring, and how we do a backward roll by bringing our hips over our head. Now, the next thing that we are going to be doing, once we've done this about 9 or 10 times, in order to be confident and understand the motion of the skill, is we're going to do a backward roll off of a high edge. So now what we are going to do, now that we've done this skill, or this exercise with the beanbag and the hula hoop, 9 or 10 times to understand that the backward roll comes from the hips, and that you, in order to roll, you need to bring your hips over your head. We're going to combine these two skills that we've learned. 1, pizza hands, and 2, bring your hips over our head. Now, with this, what we're going to do is an exercise where we do a backward roll off of an elevated space. Now, I have here a block, which is perfect for this. However, you might not have this at home. Instead, you may use a couch, a bed, or even a chair. Anything that could bring you a little bit off the ground so that it's a little bit easier to do the skill. So now what I'm going to do is lie down on the block. And I'm going to go and put my hands all the way down with my my fingers facing the block. Now what I'm going to do is practice and redo the second exercise where I bring my hips over my hands and bring my feet to the floor. Now make sure your arms are nice and strong so that your head does not go on the floor. So here, it's over and down. This might be hard at first, but as long as you feel that your arms are straight and you're bringing your feet towards the floor, you're sure to succeed. Do this a couple of times in order to get comfortable with it before we move on. The next thing we're going to do is a backward roll off of an elevated space to handstand. This is going to require a spot. So ask an adult, maybe your mom or maybe your dad, to help you with this skill. So parents, listen closely so that you understand what you need to do in order to practice this safely and effectively. Now, the first thing is going to happen is that your child is going to sit down on the block. And what they are going to do is lie down and do pizza hands. Put their hands down on the flat on the elevated space and their fingers facing their shoulders. What you are going to do, parents, is you are going to grab their hips. And your goal is to take the pressure off of their neck by lifting their hips when they go over. So children, what you're going to do is bring your feet down and pretend that there's a beanbag bag and bring it to the hole. Down. And parents, lift so that their arms are straight and then their head is off the floor. This is the beginning of the backward roll. And children, this is what's going to teach you how to push off the block and bring you, while having pizza hands, bring your head off the floor. So, now, the backward roll is a fast skill. So the goal is to push with your arms and bring your legs over as fast as you can. However, since parents, you are joining in this and you are helping your child do the exercise, I would recommend doing a little slow in the beginning so that you understand and feel comfortable with lifting your child off the ground. Then, as you get more comfortable and you understand what you need to do, you guys can go a little bit faster so that they can more realistically practice the skill. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do, we are going to try the backward roll, however, with the spot. So, children, what you are going to do is lie down flat on your back and practice everything you've already learned. So, we are going to lie down, legs bent, feet flat, hands in pizza. Now, what your goal is to do is pretend that you have the beanbag and bring it over to your target. Parents, what you're going to do is the same thing you've done with the last exercise. You're going to grab your child's hips and you're going to help them go over and take pressure off their neck. Go over and down. Now, once again, try this slowly. And now we're going to do the same thing, but add a little bit more speed to it. So we lie down, pizza hands. Parents, be ready, and go. Okay? And then do this a couple of times in order to get comfortable. Now, children, your goal here is to make sure that your hands stay on the floor. Make sure that they don't bring your elbows to the floor. Only your hands should be touching the floor, and your fingers should be facing your shoulders. The first thing that we're going to start with, the next thing that we're going to do is a seated tuck. We're going to sit down in a nice tuck like this, and we're going to practice going from here. So prepare with your hands right here in pizza hand position and roll backwards. Parents, once again, grab the hips when your child is flat on their back. Now, do this skill slow in order to maximize safety as well as becoming more comfortable with spotting. Boom, roll, and down. While you're spotting, parents, you have to keep in mind that there's a little bit of timing to the skill. So this is exactly why we have to do this slowly first, so that you can understand when you need to grab the hips. Now, the child needs to be flat on their back when they're going. So they'll be here. From here, grab their hips, and then hands down and push. Once you get this, we can do this a little bit faster. Seated up, hands down, roll back flat, push. Perfect. Afterwards, we're going to do standing. We will start here. Child, you'll start here, arms by your ears, tuck, roll backwards, parents grab, and down. Once again, try this slow in order to get the timing. Arms up, down, Go back. Up. Put. Once you are comfortable with this, and you understand where your hands should be, you understand that your hips should be over your shoulders, it's time to try the actual skill. So, what it is instead of your parents lifting you from your hip, you are going to lift yourself. You are going to use your hands, remember to push, keep the pressure off of your head, and then safely do your backward roll. So, keep your arms up, squat down, go backwards, push, and down. And that is our skill. Now, keep in mind that the goal of this skill is to roll. When we're here, there are sometimes some of us that will be tempted to put our hands here, be all ready, and go back. That is not a backward roll. Make sure that you go here, fall backwards, and roll first before your hands come down. Get on your back before your hands flat down. And in that way that you'll be able to understand the idea of the roll as opposed to jumping back. This will be a safer way in order to practice the skill. Secondly, we do not use our feet to initiate the backward roll. If we did, it would look like this. But as you see, I cannot get over. So make sure that your roll initiates from your hips. You go here, and then push. Okay, we have the skill. We understand the fundamentals of the skill. Now it's time to make our body strong enough in order to do it. The first thing we need to think about is our arms. They are essential to doing this skill safely because we use these to push our head off of the floor and maintain that there's no pressure on the neck. So what we're going to do is a hollow plank. Arms straight out, up, squeeze your bum, squeeze your abs, and hold the hands up. Okay. If that's too hard, you can also go and just do mad cat. Push and just really push through your arms. The next thing we're going to do is a candlestick toe tap. What we will start is standing here, arms straight, and what we're going to do is roll back, put our hands down in pizza hands, and just tap our toes behind us. Arms straight, roll back, touch, and then stand up. Now what we're going to do next is a modified downward dog push-up. So we're going to use, for this, we're going to need an elevated space. I, once again, have a block, but you may use a chair, a couch, or a bed. Or something even lower if you feel like you'd like to have a challenge. Now, what you're going to do is feet hip distance apart, hands down, let your feet back a little bit, and your bum up like you were doing downward dog. And then you're going to push down and up. For some arm strength. And you can do this about 10 times. Afterwards, what we're going to do is a leg lift. Here we're going to lie down, arms by our ears, and here we're going to practice bringing our hips over our body. So we're going to put our hands here, legs straight out, nice pizza hands, and back. Don't make sure that your legs are nice in control and that they do not slam against the floor, but they hover slightly above it. And that is our conditioning. The last thing we're going to do in order to just do a simple cool down is stretching. Now, since we use our arms a lot, it would be very important that we do a few stretches in order to relax our arm muscles. First one, put your first arm across your chest, and the opposite one as if you're giving it a hug, and hold in. After 10 seconds, you can switch. Put the other arm across your chest and give it a hug. Then you can grab your wrist, put your arm up behind your head, and bend. And use your head to get a stretch in your shoulder. Afterwards, do the same the other arm. Next thing we're going to do are position stretches. Now, since we don't really stretch in tuck or straight, we're going to do only pike instead. So for pike, legs straight out, feet together, pointed toes, arms up, and reach as far down as possible. Now, if this is too easy, you can flex your feet and grab. Afterwards, point your toes, straddle, arm out, and bring one hand down to one foot as far as you can, and go the other foot. Lastly, put our hands down and reach all the way forward as far as you can. Once you've done that a few times, each for 10 seconds, we do split. So for here, what we will do is we'll put our feet in a nice lift, like so, and bring our hips as far forward as possible. Make sure that your both hips are facing directly in front of you. Do not have one hip facing this way and then the other one. Don't have them diagonal, but make sure that they're in front. What you will do is a nice line, like so. Then straighten your leg, point your toe, and then feel the stretch in your hamstring. Lastly, while keeping your hips facing forward, go down to your split. Now today, I have not stretched very much, so we're going to go down to here. And this is perfectly fine, as long as your hips are forward. If this is your split, that is also okay. Just as long as you get the stretch and your hips are in the right place. All right, so that is the conclusion of today's video of the backward roll. I hope you guys learn it and happy practicing. I hope to see you next time at Energy Fitness.